So without further ado, I want to bring on three sets of teachers, I would say. Well, 4 teachers from 3 countries on a subject which I think is really critical. So when we came up with this, it was all about, well, how do we engage learners online? How do you create community online? It's such an important subject given that we're now using all these different tools. And so for that reason, please welcome Michael Hernandez from the US, Elissa, Aoun, and Lama Nassif from Lebanon, and we have Panchali Dutta from India. Panchali, you should turn your camera on. And so welcome, and I will, without further ado, I want to actually show the short video that we have that you've produced for us, and so that people understand what you're going to send, and we'll bring you back for a conversation with Saba. So hold on tight. Please make notes, copious notes, and in the comments that you make on Facebook or YouTube, rather than say, hi from the Philippines or hi from Nigeria, actually comment on what you're hearing in terms of what these incredible teachers are saying. They've put heart and soul into creating this content so that we all benefit. And I think the benefit of actually commenting and using the hashtag is so that we can be reflective and we can share what we're learning. So without further ado, please enjoy these videos.
Hello, I'm Michael Hernandez. I teach journalism, photography, and filmmaking at Miracosta High School, which is a public school in the Los Angeles area. And right now, students are really searching for the purpose behind their learning. And I can really think of no greater purpose than to help them make a positive change on the world. And so what I want to do now is maybe share some projects that my students have created that will hopefully inspire your curriculum and your students. I feel that it's important to let students put themselves into their work, to choose topics and aspects of my curriculum that resonates with them. This year, the ideas revolved around the pandemic, politics, isolation, and racism. Students explored political issues by choosing a topic that they cared about, researching that topic, and then creating a social media graphic. They posted their work on social media accounts to expose these ideas to a wide audience beyond our school. One of my favorite assignments my students completed this year was a project based on the prompt, "In the Shadows." Students interpreted the theme in a variety of ways and created projects in ways that they felt was best for their goals. A student decided to explore undocumented immigrants in the US by creating a website documenting their lives. One of my Black students addressed racism by interviewing students of color about their experiences, then created a series of stylized portraits and designed a digital book that included these photos and the audio interviews. Motivated by the Black Lives Matter protests, another student found a way to address racism within her community by producing a podcast. This project required her to develop a plan, contact a variety of people she didn't know, conduct interviews, write a script, and edit and publish these audio stories. I always encourage my students to create projects for a global audience, so when the New York Times created a contest for teens, I encouraged my students to submit their work. One of my students created this photo illustration, which represented what 2020 meant to him. It was selected out of thousands of submissions and was published in the New York Times. The first point I want to make is that students should own their learning, meaning that they should have a personal interest in the topic and be free to make connections between our curriculum and their own lives. The second point I want to make is that students should have agency. We need our students to be independent thinkers and to become thoughtful, active citizens. The best way to do that is to empower them with the skills and the mindsets they need to set goals and act in ethical ways. Finally, I feel that all of our assignments should help students engage with the real world beyond the classroom. Learning doesn't end at the classroom walls, and these kinds of projects help students to solve real-world problems once they leave school. We can assess our students with tests, but there's no better way to evaluate their learning than by seeing the impact their work has on an audience beyond the classroom. Publishing work and participating in festivals is more rewarding and has much more meaning for them than any grade I could ever give them. My students rely on a variety of tools to complete their projects, some free or low-cost tech, or maybe the mobile phones that they already own. The concepts here translate to every grade level and don't really need a lot of money to produce. The idea here is that you focus on the ideas and give time and space for inquiry, student agency, and passion.
Hello, my name is Elissa Lama Nassif.
Hello, my name is Lama Nassif. We are teachers at St. Joseph School,
Lebanon.
St. Joseph School is a private trilingual school for children from kindergarten to 3rd secondary. We teach English and pre-math for preschoolers.
We will be sharing with you 10 fun learning activities to engage learners online. We have included these activities during our Zoom sessions and in our filmed videos. Let us have a look at them. Number 1, daily routine and puppet shows.
Good morning to you. And how do you do?
Is this my mouth or this?
Number 2, storytelling.
Daddy Pig and George are riding the big wheel.
Number 3, Frankenstein game.
Close your eyes with one hand, hold your pencil with another hand, draw a mitten without looking, and then show me. No looking.
Number 4, this or that game.
If you prefer playing volleyball, cover your eyes. If you prefer playing football, blow a kiss.
Number 5, guessing game.
What is this?
Mama.
Good job, Marnie.
Number 6, virtual hide and seek.
Where do you think Little Bear is?
Yellow.
Is Little Bear behind the green chair? Oh, look!
Number 7, show and tell and scavenger hunt.
Hulk.
Wow, and what color is Hulk?
Green.
Number 8, hands-on activities.
Dip the tissue paper in water.
All the germs are spread into the air.
Try to bend the crayon. Can you do so? No, I can't. Take your stuffed animal. Try to bend it.
Number 9, musical activities.
Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day.
Number 10, drawing and craft activities.
You can follow these steps and draw a teddy bear. I have artists in my class.
And I'm going to crush. I have a ball.
We hope that you liked the activities. These are some examples that have had a positive impact on our learners.
Our goal is to keep working on new techniques that will help our students become more engaged in their learning. Much love!
Hey everyone, Namaste. My name is Panchali and I'm a teacher in Avanti Fellows working in India. I hold a master's degree in physics and I teach math and science to students studying in senior secondary schools. I wanted to create a large-scale impact, so I joined Avanti that works with several hundreds of public systems in the country. Today, we are working with several teachers in state to deploy a statewide at-home learning program for these students. Public schools are schools that are free for students, operated and funded by the government. So let me share with all of you how we engage learners online. And to understand this, we have to go back to last year where everything had to move quickly online. WhatsApp groups were created for every school and every grade. That meant over 800,000 students were enrolled on these groups. A daily lesson plan was sent that consisted of a YouTube link and a PDF assignment or a reading material. This was followed by a quiz conducted on a Google form. The students would submit their responses and data generated would be shared with all the stakeholders. Well, let's see how we fared on the engagement metrics. Quiz had over 60% participation. In fact, this number was even higher for students who were on the WhatsApp group. But the YouTube videos had less than 20% views. This led to the big question, what can we do to make the videos more interactive or even gather meaningful data to really understand how the engagement works? Well, the answer was Plyo. Plyo is a tool that converts any video into an active learning tool. It allows the educator to add multiple choice questions in the middle of the YouTube video. It also measures engagement metrics like watch time, retention, drop-off, and much, much more. It also allows you to experiment with different kinds of attributes to understand what kind of pedagogy would work best for your class. Is it the length of the video, the timing of the question, etc.? In fact, by just adding multiple choice questions in the middle of the video, the Plyo led to a 5-time increase in engagement as compared to any regular YouTube video. Let me show you what this plyo looks like. This is a YouTube video that has been converted into a plyo. And as you can see, this YouTube video has a lot of these red spots. These red spots are the questions that have been inserted. Now, this is a question that I've already answered, and I can move forward. And this will mean that I will watch another segment of the video and then be prompted with another question. A student can get immediate feedback whether they're able to learn the concept or not. Secondly, for this teacher, it'll draw out a learning map to show where the students are dropping off. Are they getting the questions correct or not? Is that a motivator? Or getting it wrong, is it a deterrent? In fact, you can play it further by varying different attributes like video length, number of questions, spacing, timing of the first question. So let me quickly show you how to create one and for you, all of you to get started. Well, just go to any YouTube video, copy the URL, go to creator.plyo.in, fill the simple form and just click on Create Plyo. And voila, your link will be generated. You can just share it over WhatsApp, SMS, or even embed in an existing web page. I hope this was useful, and to know more, you can go to plyo.in. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. There were a lot of comments in the chat. I have to call some of them out about how engaging you were, how cute you guys were, and how much everybody enjoyed. And I think, Michael, there was even a request from South Africa for some collaboration on some of these projects. So thank you all so much for the great things you shared. There was such diversity across ages and ideas. There is one theme that I saw come up in the chat. So I'm actually going to go with that question. And that is, for somebody that wants to be able to give kids more agency, that wants to be a little bit more interactive, but maybe they don't have the technology tools that allow them to do this. What advice might you have for people in that scenario? How about Michael, we start with you, and then we go to Panchali, and then Elissa and Lama.
Right. So like I was saying in my video, you can just use your mobile phone to do so much storytelling, even if it's just photography. You can start with something very, very simple and easy and basic. It's not complicated, and have, stories and conversations around that. So even then, I think, if you don't have access to those kinds of tools, you can start by looking and watching others, and start by analyzing and seeing what other people are doing and sort of getting into that mindset of what makes for a good story, and can I vet sources, and do I trust this person and source? So whose perspective is being told and whose message is being left out? Who are we not hearing from? So even if you don't have the tools, you can start those storytelling fundamentals by watching, observing, and listening to others.
Thanks, that's a great suggestion. Panchali, what suggestions might you have for somebody that might not have the technology, but still really wants to give kids more agency and more independence in their learning?
Yeah, so I think we primarily work with a community that has extreme digital divide, right? They don't have access to technology, they don't have access to phones. But what we saw last year is this eagerness from the student to really learn. We have a YouTube channel that saw students right in the morning trying to get a phone from their parents who will go work at 9 o'clock just to watch the videos, right? I think that gave us a very encouraging sign that the students want to learn, are eager to learn. And if given the agency, in fact, they, I think, can do like numerous things. I think I might not have a good answer. What are the things when you don't have technology, what can be done? Some of the things I can share that we saw amongst the teachers that they did is going door to door and forming groups in a safe fashion with distance and everything, making them interact with each other, talking about not just academic but just non-academic stuff, what's going on. And I think that sharing it really helps in building that agency again amongst peers and everything, right? So just like I think teacher is a key role to get all the students together and just to have a moderated discussion like we are having one here. I think that helps. That helps students voice their opinion, talk about stuff, everything. Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I mean, I think there's a great tie-in between what both you and Michael shared, that idea of like community, but also relationship building, right? And we know that relationships are really central to student motivation, student engagement, and, really are the foundation for all the other elements that we see. Elissa and Lama, what advice would you share for people that might not have the technology tools, but still want to really engage and help their students become independent learners?
Yes, so I would say use what you already have at home. So start with what you have and build upon that. Use the material found at home. Use all the toys that the kids have at home. And then let them share their own work. Let them share what they're doing. And in this way, they will be able to build relationships, just like you said. And they will be able to be happy of what they have and share it with everybody else.
Yes, so basically what Elissa said, I agree with her. And what also we are doing as a community of teachers, we are helping each other, we are giving support from each other. We are, whatever we need, we are taking it from each other to help our students and to help ourselves to create the perfect community that we need.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think there's such a beautiful theme running throughout everything that you're saying around this idea of community, of relationships. And I also just really want to highlight, a lot of people might think that here in California, everything is so advanced, but I think Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was over 40% of our schools had to do the door-to-door Panchali that you mentioned. So I think, that's one of the biggest sort of equity gaps that was really exposed during this time, was the lack of internet for so many students, the lack of access for so many students. And so hopefully that's something that, I think earlier, because you were talking about policy, and, hopefully this is one of those things that, hearing from teachers, seeing what they're doing, and seeing the gaps that existed will help us advance in those areas. I thank you all so much. Great. It's so great hearing from you all.
And I add to Saba's thanks. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Panchali. Thank you, Elissa and Lama. Engaging learners online is such a massive thing, and creating community in particular, like Saba said, is of fundamental importance. So thank you so much for sharing, and I look forward to staying in touch with all of you. So thank you, and we'll see you hopefully later on in the year.
Thank you.